Picture this: the faint hum of a lawnmower in the distance, the scent of freshly cut grass sneaking through an open window, and me, staring at the same blinking cursor on my laptop screen for what feels like an eternity. That's where I am right now, caught in the quiet rhythm of my life. My name's Megan, I'm 28, and I've been weaving my days around the steady heartbeat of a marriage that's 4 years strong. My husband, Lucas, is 30, a software engineer who can code magic into machines but somehow still can't figure out how to load the dishwasher right. He's got this effortless charm, though, a laid-back vibe, always ready with a quip and a grin that could melt anyone's defenses. People gravitate to him, and our home in a sleepy Portland, Oregon suburb is proof of that. It's practically a second living room for his crew. Let me tell you about them. There's Daniel, 32, a graphic designer with a tongue as sharp as his designs. He's got this flirtatious edge, always tossing out playful comments that make you wonder if he's serious or just messing around. Then there's Mark, 29, a mechanic who's all grit and grease on the outside but pure gold underneath, loyal to a fault. And Ethan, 31, the quiet accountant of the bunch. He doesn't say much, but when he does, there's often a sly, mischievous glint in his eye, like he's got a secret up his sleeve. These guys are over all the time, turning our cozy 2-story house into their personal hangout spot. Our place isn't fancy, but it's got heart. Downstairs, the living room is a patchwork of mismatched furniture, couches that don't quite go together, armchairs we snagged from thrift stores, all arranged around a coffee table that's perpetually buried under board game boxes and empty soda cans. The walls are lined with shelves of Lucas's old sci-fi novels and a few of my framed freelance writing awards, though I don't talk about those much. The kitchen, just off to the side, is my domain. It's where I spend hours whipping up snacks for the guys' game nights, trays of nachos, bowls of homemade salsa, little sliders that disappear in minutes. I've got it down to a science, playing the perfect hostess. I smile, I chat just enough to be polite, I keep the beer glasses full, and then I slip away before things get too rowdy. Most nights, I'm either upstairs in our bedroom, scrolling through social media, or trying to churn out another article for a client, or I'm back in the kitchen, cleaning up the mess I know they'll leave behind. Lucas calls it men's talk when they get deep into their conversations, sports, tech, whatever else they're on about. And I've always figured it's their space, their time. I don't mind, or at least I tell myself I don't. But truth be told, there's a part of me that's always felt a little on the outside, like I'm just the backdrop to their story. Tonight, though, something feels different. I'm in the kitchen, arranging a tray of nachos and pretzels, the sharp tang of melted cheese wafting up and mixing with the faint buttery scent of the popcorn I made earlier. I'm dressed in my usual jeans and a soft gray sweater, my auburn hair pulled back in a messy bun that's more practical than pretty. Honestly, I feel more like a server than a wife right now, bustling around to make sure everything's perfect for Lucas and his friends. My hands are busy, but my mind's elsewhere, caught in this strange mix of routine and restlessness. From the living room, I can hear the guys already in full swing. Lucas's booming chuckle cuts through the air, warm and infectious, followed by Daniel's sly, teasing remarks that always seem to carry a double edge. Mark's gruff retorts come next, his voice rough like gravel. And then there's Ethan's quieter snicker, subtle but sharp, like he's in on a joke no one else gets. It's their usual rhythm, a familiar soundtrack to these game nights, and I'm used to staying on the sidelines. But then Lucas's voice breaks through, cheerful yet firm, calling out to me over the noise. "Hey Meg, you gonna join us or what? Come sit with us for once." I freeze for a second, my hands pausing over the tray as I wipe them on a dish towel. A knot of unease twists in my stomach. Join them? I've always kept my distance during these hangouts, letting them have their space while I play the supportive host. I don't want to intrude on their dynamic, don't want to be the odd one out in their tight-knit circle. But Lucas's tone leaves little room for argument, and I can almost picture the encouraging look on his face. "Come on, Meg. It'll be more fun with you here," he adds, his voice softer now, coaxing. I force a smile, even though he can't see it, and mutter a quiet, "All right," under my breath. Grabbing the tray, I take a deep breath and step out of the kitchen, the warmth of the living room hitting me as I cross the threshold. The space is cozy, almost too warm, with the soft glow of string lights draped along the walls casting gentle shadows over everything. The air carries the faint bitterness of hops from the empty beer bottles scattered around, mingling with the sharper scent of cologne that lingers from the guys. They're sprawled out in their usual spots, Lucas on the couch, Daniel lounging in an armchair with a smirk, Mark slouched beside him, and Ethan perched on the edge of another chair, his eyes flicking up briefly as I enter. A half-finished game of Settlers of Catan sits on the coffee table, tiles and cards strewn about in organized chaos. I set the tray down on the coffee table, the clink of the ceramic dish against the wood barely audible over the guys' chatter. I slide onto the couch next to Lucas, my thigh brushing against his as I settle in. He flashes me a quick, warm smile before turning back to the game, his focus already drifting. The clock on the wall ticks past 10 p.m., and the night feels like it's winding down, but there's a restless energy in the room that I can't quite place. The guys are looser now, a few more beers in, their voices booming louder, their laughter cutting through the air with a sharper edge. I've relaxed a bit myself, even tossing out a playful bet or two about who's gonna snag the next win. It feels good to be part of their circle for once, even if just for a moment. But then, something shifts. I catch Daniel's gaze from across the room. He's slouched in that armchair, one hand lazily holding a beer, but his dark brown eyes are locked on me, intense and unblinking, like a predator sizing up its mark. A smirk curls on his lips, slow and deliberate, and my stomach does a little flip. He leans forward, reaching across the table as if he's going for a chip from the tray, but his hand doesn't stop there. Instead, his fingers brush through my hair, slow and intentional, tucking a loose strand behind my ear. The touch sends a jolt through me, unexpected and electric. His voice drops low, a whisper meant just for me, as he murmurs, "You're special tonight." My breath catches in my throat, heat flooding my cheeks so fast I'm sure everyone can see it. I should pull away, say something, anything, but I don't. I'm frozen, caught between shock and this strange, forbidden thrill that I can't shake. I dart a quick glance at Lucas, but he's deep in some heated debate with Mark over a game rule, his voice animated, his hands gesturing wildly. He doesn't notice a thing. My heart is pounding now, a wild rhythm I can't control. As I sit there, still feeling the ghost of Daniel's touch in my hair, the air in the room feels heavier, thicker, like it's pressing down on me. And then I sense movement on either side of me. Mark, who's shifted closer on the couch, lets his calloused hand graze my shoulder, pretending to point at something on the table. The roughness of his skin sends a shiver down my spine, and I can smell the faint scent of motor oil mixed with beer on his breath as he leans in just a little too close. On my other side, Ethan's presence is quieter, but no less intense. His fingers brush against my waist, lingering there for a heartbeat longer than they should. A subtle but deliberate touch that makes my skin prickle with awareness. My mind is racing, a chaotic mess of fear and something darker, something I don't want to name. I steal another look at Lucas, but he's still oblivious, laughing with a beer in his hand, his head thrown back like nothing in the world could touch him. The tension in the room is suffocating now, unspoken but palpable, and I realize what's happening. They're testing me, pushing boundaries, daring me to react. And the worst part? I don't stop them. I don't pull away or call them out. Instead, I lean into it, just a little, letting their touches linger, letting the warmth of their hands seep into me. My body betrays me with a shiver of anticipation, a rush of heat that I can't ignore, even as guilt claws at the edges of my mind. Every small gesture feels amplified, like the world has zoomed in on just this moment. Daniel's eyes are still on me, that smirk never fading, and I can feel the weight of his stare like a physical thing. Mark's hand brushes my shoulder again, a little bolder this time, the roughness of his palm a stark contrast to the softness of my sweater. Ethan's touch at my waist is lighter, but no less charged, his fingers tracing a slow, almost teasing path before pulling away. The scent of beer and cologne. I'm sitting there on the couch, the world around me shrinking to the heat of their touches, each one a spark that threatens to ignite something I can't control. Daniel's hand has moved from my hair to my neck, his thumb tracing slow, deliberate circles against my skin, sending a shiver down my spine that I can't hide. The warmth of his breath is close, too close, as he leans in just enough to make my pulse race even faster. Mark's grip on my shoulder tightens, not painful but firm, pulling me slightly toward him as if staking some unspoken claim. I can feel the roughness of his calloused fingers through the thin fabric of my sweater, a stark reminder of how real this is. And Ethan, quiet as ever, has his hand resting on my lower back, a subtle but undeniable presence, his fingers pressing just enough to let me know he's there, marking his territory in silence. My mind is a storm, screaming at me to stop this, to push them away, to bolt upstairs and lock the door behind me. I should be thinking of Lucas, of the vows I made, of the life we've built together in this very house. But there's another part of me, a part I didn't even know existed until tonight, that's drowning in this attention, craving the danger, the thrill of stepping outside the neat little box I've lived in as the perfect wife. It's like I've been asleep for years, and now I'm waking up to a hunger I can't name, a need to feel something other than the monotony of my days. Every nerve in my body is alive, buzzing with a mix of fear and exhilaration, and I hate myself for it, but I can't make it stop. The living room feels like it's closing in around us, every detail sharper than ever. The TV in the background flickers with a muted sports recap, the silent images of players running across the screen, casting faint ghostly light over the walls. The sound of empty beer bottles clinking together pierces the haze as someone, Mark, I think, accidentally knocks one over on the coffee table, the sharp noise making me flinch for just a second before I'm pulled back into the tension. The couch cushions sink under our combined weight, the worn fabric creaking softly as we shift, each movement feeling like it's amplifying the unspoken undercurrent in the room. The air is thick with the bitter tang of hops and the lingering sharpness of cologne, mixing with the faint mustiness of the old furniture. It's a familiar space, but tonight it feels foreign, like I've stumbled into a different reality where the rules I've always lived by don't apply. Across the room, Lucas is still at the far end, his back to us as he rummages through a stack of board games on a shelf, muttering to himself about which one to play next. His broad shoulders are relaxed, oblivious, and every so often I hear the rustle of cardboard as he pulls out a box, only to set it aside. He's so close, yet so far away, and the distance between us feels like a chasm I've already crossed without even realizing it. My eyes keep darting to him, searching for any sign that he's noticed, that he senses something's wrong, but he doesn't turn around. And in that absence of his gaze, I'm sinking deeper into this quicksand of temptation. I turn my head slightly toward Daniel, his face inches from mine now, that smirk still playing on his lips like he knows exactly what he's doing to me. My voice comes out in a whisper, barely audible over the hum of the TV, as I say, "We shouldn't." But there's no strength behind it, no conviction, just a hollow plea that even I don't believe. His grin widens, a flash of something dangerous in his eyes, and he leans in closer, his voice a low murmur against my ear, words I won't repeat, but that send heat flooding through me all over again. My breath hitches, and I know I should pull away, but my body doesn't move. Instead, I let it happen. Let the moment stretch out. Each second a betrayal I can't take back. Mark. I'm frozen on the couch, my breath shallow, the heat of their presence still lingering on my skin like a forbidden brand. My heart is a drum in my chest, each beat so loud I'm sure it's echoing through the room. I turn my head slowly, almost against my will, drawn by some instinct I can't name. That's when I see him. Lucas stands in the doorway between the living room and the hall, a game box clutched in his hands, his frame rigid as if carved from stone. His hazel eyes, the ones I've always found refuge in, are now cold, sharp, cutting through me like shards of ice. There's no warmth there, no trace of the man who laughs so easily, who pulls me close at night with whispered promises. Just a stranger staring at me, seeing everything I've tried to hide. The air shifts instantly, heavy with the weight of what's been shattered. Daniel's hand drops from my neck, the sudden absence of his touch jarring. Mark pulls back, his grip on my shoulder gone as he shifts away, his movements stiff and deliberate. Ethan clears his throat. A small, awkward sound that grates against the suffocating silence, his fingers no longer tracing patterns on my back. The room is still, so still I can hear the faint hum of the TV, a mindless drone that underscores the wreckage unfolding before me. My mouth opens, desperate to form words, to explain, to beg, anything to fill this void, but nothing comes. My throat is tight, choked with guilt so thick I can barely breathe. Lucas doesn't say a word. His jaw is clenched, a muscle ticking there like a countdown to something I can't predict. His knuckles are white around the edges of the game box, the cardboard bending under the pressure of his grip. Those eyes, though, they don't leave mine, pinning me in place, stripping me bare. I feel exposed, raw, like every wrong choice I've made tonight is written across my face for him to read. Then, without breaking that gaze for even a second, he turns. His movements are slow, deliberate, each step heavy on the hardwood floor as he heads upstairs. The sound of his boots echoes in my ears, each thud a hammer against my chest, until the noise fades into the distance, leaving me hollow. I'm still sitting there, rooted to the couch, as the weight of what I've done crashes over me. It's a tidal wave, relentless, pulling me under until I'm drowning in it. The guys don't linger. They mumble half-hearted excuses, their voices low and strained, as they grab their jackets from the armchairs and head for the door. Daniel mutters a sorry, but it's empty, a throwaway word that means nothing in the face of this disaster. Mark avoids my eyes entirely, his head down as he shuffles out, and Ethan just gives a small, uncomfortable nod before disappearing into the night. The door clicks shut behind them, the sound final, like the closing of a chapter I can't rewrite. Now it's just me, alone in the living room, surrounded by the ghosts of what just happened. The air still carries the bitter tang of beer, mixed with the sharp edge of cologne, and something darker, something I can only name as betrayal. My hands are trembling as I lift them to my face, burying it there as if I can hide from myself. But there's no escaping this. My skin feels dirty, tainted by touches I shouldn't have allowed, by desires I shouldn't have entertained. The couch beneath me, this worn, familiar piece of furniture where Lucas and I have spent countless nights curled up together, now feels like a crime scene. Every creak of the cushions reminds me of how I sat here, letting boundaries blur, letting myself slip into a place I can't come back from. Shame burns through me, hot and unrelenting, searing every inch of my body. It's not just in my mind, it's physical, a weight pressing down on my chest, making each breath a struggle. I want to cry, to let the tears come and wash away some of this filth I feel. But they don't. My eyes are dry, stinging, because deep down, the next morning, I wake up on the couch, my neck stiff and aching like I've been folded into an unnatural shape for hours. My eyes are swollen, heavy from the silent tears I finally let out in the dead of night, when the house was so quiet it felt like it was holding its breath. I blink against the pale light filtering through the curtains, the world coming into focus, slowly, painfully. The living room is a disaster. Empty beer bottles scattered across the coffee table, crumpled napkins littering the floor, and the game board still sitting there, untouched since last night, a cruel reminder of how everything unraveled. The air is thick with the stale scent of beer, clinging to every surface, and there's something else, a lingering trace of cologne that twists my stomach into knots. It's a scent that once felt harmless, even playful, but now it's a punch to the gut, a memory of touches I can't erase. I sit up slowly, every movement heavy, like I'm dragging myself through mud. My body feels foreign, weighed down by a shame that settled into my bones. I rub at my neck, trying to ease the ache, but nothing helps. The silence in the house is eerie, unnatural. There's no hum of Lucas's morning routine, no clatter of him making coffee in the kitchen, no soft murmur of his voice as he talks to himself while coding. It's just nothing. A void where his presence used to be. I force myself to stand, my bare feet cold against the hardwood floor, and I shuffle toward the stairs, dreading the climb, dreading facing him. My heart is a dull thud in my chest as I grip the banister, each step creaking under my weight, sounding louder than it should in this suffocating quiet. When I reach our bedroom, I hesitate at the door, my hand hovering over the knob. I don't know what I expect. Maybe to see him there, asleep, giving me a chance to pretend for just a moment that last night didn't happen. But when I push the door open, his side of the bed is empty, the sheets smooth and untouched, like he never came back after walking away. The sight hits me harder than I expect, a sharp pang in my chest, and I have to grip the doorframe to steady myself. He's gone. Not just from the room, but from me, from us. I turn back, my legs shaky, and head downstairs again, my mind numb, searching for any sign of him, any hint that I can still fix this. That's when I see it. A note on the kitchen counter, written in his neat, precise handwriting. I recognize the way he loops his L's, the slight slant of his words, even before I read it. My fingers tremble as I pick it up, the paper crinkling under my touch. I'm filing for divorce. I'll be at my brother's. Don't call. The words are cold, final, like a door slamming shut. My knees buckle, and I sink to the floor, the tile icy against my skin, clutching the note like it's the last piece of him I'll ever hold. The reality of losing him, of losing everything we built, crashes into me like a fist to the chest. I can't breathe, can't think past the ache that's spreading through me, consuming every part of me until there's nothing left but pain. The house doesn't feel like home anymore. It's like the walls are closing in, pressing against me, suffocating me with memories I can't escape. The laughter that used to fill these rooms, the warmth of late-night talks with Lucas curled up beside me, the silly arguments over who left the dishes in the sink, it's all gone, replaced by a hollow chill that seeps into my skin. I drag myself to my feet, the note still crumpled in my hand, and wander through the rooms like a ghost, seeing flashes of last night everywhere I look. The couch in the living room, where I let boundaries slip, where I let myself be drawn into something I knew was wrong. The doorway where Lucas stood, his eyes cutting through me with a betrayal I'll never forget. The kitchen. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.